Let's talk about the stakes, because this isn't just about Sarah and Ethan falling for each other. There's something bigger at play, something that makes this night shift feel like the start of something life-altering. The themes here are universal. Love, trust, courage, and the search for meaning in a world that can feel so random. You've probably felt that way before, wondering if the choices you make are leading you somewhere incredible or straight into trouble. Sarah's wondering that too, as she starts noticing things at the diner that don't add up. Strange noises in the back room, a locked door she's told never to open, and Ethan's cryptic warnings about staying safe. You're going to feel her curiosity, her fear, and that spark of hope that maybe, just maybe, this mysterious guy is worth the risk. And I know you're invested now, because who doesn't love a story that keeps you guessing? #Night Shift Mystery is trending for a reason, and you're about to find out why. So, here we are, you and me, standing at the edge of this story, ready to dive in. Sarah's first night shift is about to take a turn she never saw coming. Ethan's sitting in that booth, his eyes locked on her, and something in the air feels off. The clock's ticking, the diner's quiet, and the world outside is pitch black. What happens when Sarah decides to trust Ethan, to follow him into the unknown? What's behind that locked door, and why does it feel like the diner itself is hiding something? You're going to find out, but only if you stick with me. I'm not going to let you down. This story's got twists, romance, and a mystery that'll keep you up at night. So, tell me, are you ready to find out what happens when Sarah takes the night shift and Ethan takes her to forever? Because right now, as Sarah pours Ethan another coffee and their hands brush for the first time, something's about to happen that'll make your jaw drop, and I'm not telling you what it is just yet. Alright, you're still here with me, and I'm so glad you're sticking around because things are about to get even wilder in Sarah's story. Picture this. The diner's clock is stuck at 3:15 a.m., the air thick with the smell of greasy fries and that unsettling quiet that makes every creak of the floorboards feel like a warning. Sarah's heart is still fluttering from that moment when her hand brushed Ethan's as she handed him his coffee, and she's trying to play it cool, but let's be real. You've felt that spark before, haven't you? That split second where you meet someone and it's like the universe is whispering, pay attention, this matters. But there's something about Ethan that's got her on edge too. His cryptic smile, the way he keeps glancing at the locked door at the back of the diner like he knows something she doesn't. You're probably thinking, okay, what's his deal? And trust me, I'm going to give you just enough to keep you hooked, because this story's weaving a web of #mystery vibes and #romantic suspense that's going to have you glued to your screen. As we dive deeper, we're going to peel back the layers of Sarah's life, Ethan's secrets, and this creepy diner that's starting to feel like it's got a mind of its own. So let's keep going, you and me, unraveling this tale together, because what happens next is going to make your heart race. Let's step back for a second and get to know Sarah a bit better, because she's not just some random girl working the night shift. She's got a story that'll hit you right in the feels. Growing up in this small town, Sarah was always the dreamer, the one with a camera around her neck, snapping photos of sunsets and stray dogs, turning ordinary moments into art. Her Instagram's full of #photography life posts, but lately, those dreams have been buried under bills and a dead-end job at the coffee shop. You know how it is when life feels like it's conspiring to keep you stuck? That's Sarah, barely 24 and already wondering if she's missed her shot. Taking the night shift at the diner wasn't part of the plan. It was a desperate move to save up for a photography course in New York City, a chance to finally chase her passion. But this diner, with its flickering neon sign and rumors of being haunted, is giving her second thoughts. Locals whisper about strange things happening here. Customers who vanish into the night, weird noises from the basement, and that locked door nobody talks about. Sarah's not one to believe in ghosts, but as she wipes down the counter, she can't shake the feeling that the diner's watching her, waiting for something. And when Ethan walks in night after night, always at the same time, always with that intense look in his eyes, she starts to wonder if he's tied to the diner's secrets, or if he's a mystery all his own. You're feeling that #night shift mystery vibe, right? That's what's pulling Sarah in, and it's going to pull you in too. Now let's talk about Ethan, because this guy is a walking enigma, and I know you're dying to figure him out. He's not from around here, that much is clear. His leather jacket and quiet confidence make him stand out in this sleepy town like a #mysterious stranger in a movie. He says he's just passing through, working odd jobs as a mechanic, but there's something about the way he talks, like he's choosing every word carefully, that makes Sarah, and you, wonder what he's not saying. He's charming, no doubt, with a laugh that makes her forget the creepy hum of the diner's lights, but there's a shadow in his eyes, a hint of something heavy he's carrying. Maybe you've met someone like that, Someone who makes your heart skip but also sets off alarm bells in your head. Sarah's caught in that push and pull, wanting to trust him but sensing there's more to his story. One night, he lets slip that he's been to the diner before, years ago, and his voice gets quiet when he mentions it, like he's remembering something he'd rather forget. What's his connection to this place? Is he here for Sarah, or is he chasing something, or someone else? The questions are piling up, and I can feel you leaning in, wanting answers. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you hanging, but we're not quite there yet. This story's got more twists to come. As if Sarah and Ethan's budding connection wasn't enough to keep you hooked, there's a subplot brewing that's going to add another layer of intrigue. Meet Clara, the diner's only other night shift worker, a gruff 50-something woman who's been slinging hash browns here for decades. Clara's the kind of person who knows everyone's business but keeps her own locked up tight. She's got a no-nonsense attitude, but Sarah catches her staring at Ethan sometimes, her eyes narrowing like she's seen a ghost. One night, when Sarah asks her about the locked door in the back, Clara snaps, "Don't go poking around where you don't belong, kid," and changes the subject. But Sarah's not stupid. She notices Clara's hands shake when she pours coffee, and she overhears her muttering about that night and never again. What's Clara hiding? Is she protecting Sarah, or is she part of whatever's making this diner feel so wrong? This is where the #creepystories hashtag comes in, because the more Sarah digs, the more she realizes the diner's history is darker than she thought. There are old newspaper clippings taped behind the counter, faded stories about missing people and strange incidents tied to this very spot. You're probably getting that same chill Sarah's feeling, wondering if she's stumbled into something way bigger than a paycheck. And I'm telling you, you're not wrong to feel that way. Let's add another perspective to this puzzle, because this story's not just about Sarah's point of view. Across town, there's Jake, Sarah's best friend since high school, a goofy mechanic who's always had her back. Jake's the kind of guy who'd do anything for Sarah, and yeah, maybe he's got a bit of a crush on her, but he's never said it out loud. He's been texting her non-stop since she took the night shift, begging her to quit because he's heard the same rumors you have, about the diner being bad news. Jake's not just worried about ghosts. He's got a bad feeling about Ethan too. One night, he swings by the diner to check on Sarah, and when he sees Ethan leaning close to her, laughing over some shared joke, Jake's face darkens. He pulls Sarah aside and warns her. "That guy's trouble, Sarah. I don't know what it is, but he's not right." Jake's got his own story too. He's been fixing up an old car in his garage, dreaming of taking Sarah on a road trip to chase her photography dreams, but now he's stuck wondering if she's slipping away into something dangerous. His perspective adds a new layer of tension, because now you're wondering, is Jake just jealous, or does he know something about Ethan that Sarah doesn't? #love triangle vibes are creeping in, and it's only making the mystery thicker. The diner itself is becoming a character in this story, and I know you're feeling it, too, that eerie sense that this place is more than just a greasy spoon. The locked door in the back keeps coming up, like a puzzle piece Sarah can't ignore. One night, when Clara's on a smoke break, Sarah sneaks a closer look and notices scratch marks around the handle, like someone, or something, tried to claw their way out. Her heart's pounding as she hears a faint noise from the other side. A low hum that's definitely not the air conditioning. She's tempted to grab the key from Clara's desk, but Ethan's voice stops her, soft but urgent. "Don't, Sarah. Not yet." How does he know what she's thinking? Why does he sound so scared? The #haunted places hashtag is trending for a reason, and this diner's giving off all those spooky vibes. Sarah's starting to piece things together, but every answer leads to more questions. Is the diner hiding a secret from its past? Is Ethan part of it, or is he trying to protect her from it? And why does Clara act like she's guarding a secret that could ruin everything? You're right there with Sarah, feeling that mix of curiosity and dread, and I'm betting you can't wait to see what's behind that door. As the nights go on, Sarah and Ethan's connection deepens, but so does the tension. He starts opening up, sharing little bits about his life, like how he used to come to this diner as a kid, before something happened that made him leave town. He doesn't say what, but his eyes get distant, and Sarah can tell it's big. She's falling for him, no question, but she's not naive. Every time their hands touch or he flashes that smile, she feels that spark, but she also notices how he avoids certain questions, how he changes the subject when she asks about his past. You know that feeling, right? When you want to trust someone, but your gut's screaming, "Be careful." Sarah's torn, and you're probably feeling it too, wondering if Ethan's the hero of this #love story 2025 or the villain of a #thriller vibes plot. Meanwhile, the diner's secrets are closing in. Sarah finds an old photo tucked under a booth, showing a group of people standing outside the diner years ago, and one of them looks eerily like Ethan. How is that possible? She's about to confront him when the lights flicker, and a loud crash comes from the back of the diner, right where that locked door is. Her heart's in her throat, and she's looking at Ethan, waiting for an explanation, but he's frozen, his face pale. What's behind that door, and why does it feel like everything's about to unravel? Stick with me, because you're not going to believe what happens next. You're still right here with me, and I can feel your anticipation building as we dive deeper into Sarah's story, where that fateful night shift is spiraling into something she never could have imagined. The diner's lights are flickering like they're trying to tell her something, and that loud crash from behind the locked door has Sarah's heart pounding so hard she can barely hear Ethan's voice over the rush in her ears. His face is pale, his usual cool confidence replaced by a look of pure dread, and for the first time, Sarah's not sure if she's scared of him or for him. You're probably sitting there, gripping your phone or leaning closer to your screen, wondering, what was that noise? What's Ethan hiding? And I'm telling you, this is where things take a turn you won't see coming. A twist that's going to crank up the hashtag night shift mystery and hashtag romantic suspense to a whole new level. The stakes are higher now, and every moment in this creepy diner is pulling Sarah, and you, toward a truth that's as thrilling as it is terrifying. So let's keep going, you and me, because this story's about to hit you with a shock that'll leave you desperate for more. Sarah's frozen, her hand still clutching the coffee pot as she stares at Ethan, waiting for him to say something. Anything that explains why he looks like he's seen a ghost. The crash from behind the locked door echoes in her mind, and the diner feels smaller, like the walls are closing in. She's about to demand answers when Clara bursts back in from her smoke break, her face ashen, her eyes darting between Sarah and Ethan. You heard that, didn't you? Clara whispers, her voice shaking in a way that makes Sarah's stomach twist. Before Sarah can respond, Clara's grabbing her arm, pulling her toward the counter, away from Ethan. Stay away from that door, Sarah. I'm serious, Clara hisses, but there's something in her tone. Fear, yes, but also guilt, that makes Sarah wonder what Clara's not telling her. You're feeling it, right? That hashtag creepy stories vibe that's got your skin prickling, because this diner's secrets are starting to feel like they're alive, pulsing in the air. Sarah pulls away from Clara, her curiosity outweighing her fear, and glances at Ethan, who's still standing by his booth, his hands clenched into fists. But then, in a move that makes Sarah's breath catch, he steps toward the locked door, his voice low and urgent. Sarah, we need to talk. Now. And before she can process what's happening, he's pulling a key from his pocket. A key that looks like it belongs to that door. Wait, what? How does Ethan have a key? You're probably screaming at the screen right now, and I don't blame you, because this is where the story flips upside down. Let's talk about that twist, because it's a game changer. Ethan, this mysterious stranger who's been charming Sarah with his smiles and cryptic warnings, isn't just some drifter passing through town. That key in his hand? It's not just a random find. It's a clue that he's tied to the diner's past in a way Sarah never could have guessed. As he holds it up, the flickering lights cast shadows across his face, and for a split second, Sarah swears she sees someone else standing behind him. A figure that's there one moment and gone the next. Her heart's racing, and yours probably is too, because this is straight-up hashtag haunted places territory. Ethan doesn't open the door, not yet, but he tells Sarah something that makes her blood run cold. I was here 10 years ago, the night it happened. What's it? He won't say, but the way his voice cracks, the way his eyes keep darting to the door, tells Sarah, and you that whatever happened back then is connected to the noises, the disappearances, and maybe even to her. You're probably thinking, is Ethan the key to this mystery, or is he the danger? And that's exactly what Sarah's wrestling with as she stands there, torn between running out of the diner and following him to uncover the truth. This moment's got all the hashtag thriller vibes you're craving, and it's only getting more intense. Meanwhile, the subplot with Jake is heating up, adding another layer of tension that's going to keep you on edge. Jake's been digging into the diner's history, fueled by his worry for Sarah and his gut feeling that Ethan's bad news. He's at the town library, flipping through old records on his phone, searching for anything about the diner's past. Hashtag true crime fans, you know how this goes. He finds a news article from a decade ago, buried in an archive, about a young woman who worked the night shift at the diner and vanished without a trace. The article mentions a guy who was seen with her, a guy with dark hair and a leather jacket, and Jake's heart stops because it sounds exactly like Ethan. Is it possible? Could Ethan be connected to a disappearance from 10 years ago? Jake's not sure, but he's not waiting to find out. He texts Sarah, begging her to leave the diner, but her phone's on silent, tucked under the counter as she's caught up in Ethan's revelation. Jake's subplot is weaving in that hashtag love triangle tension, but it's also raising the stakes, because if Jake's right, Sarah's in more danger than she realizes. You're probably feeling that same protective urge Jake's got, wanting to yell at Sarah to get out of there, but you're also dying to know what Ethan's about to say next. Clara's subplot is getting darker too, and it's adding fuel to the hashtag mystery vibes fire. Sarah notices Clara's been avoiding the back of the diner, always finding excuses to stay near the front counter. But when Sarah catches her slipping a small worn notebook into her apron, she knows Clara's hiding something big. One night when Clara's distracted, Sarah sneaks a peek at the notebook and finds pages filled with dates, names, and cryptic notes like, "Don't let it out, and he's back." Her hands shake as she reads, because one of the names matches the woman from the old news article, the one who disappeared. Is Clara covering up a crime? Or is she trying to protect someone, or something? The notebook's a clue, but it's also a warning, and Sarah's starting to realize the diner's secrets might be bigger than any of them. You're right there with her, feeling that hashtag creepy vibes chill, wondering if Clara's a villain or a victim in this twisted tale. The diner's starting to feel like a trap, and every creak, every shadow, is making Sarah, and you, question what's real. As the main conflict escalates, Sarah's caught in a whirlwind of fear and attraction. Ethan's confession about being at the diner 10 years ago is only the beginning. He tells her he came back to town to fix things, but he won't say what, or who, he's trying to fix. His eyes keep flicking to the locked door, and Sarah's sure now that whatever's behind it is the key to everything. The noises are getting louder, scrapes, thumps, and something that sounds like a whisper, and Sarah's starting to wonder if the locals' ghost stories aren't just rumors. But here's where it gets wild. Ethan pulls out that old photo Sarah found, the one with the group outside the diner, and points to the guy who looks like him. "That's not me," he says, his voice barely above a whisper. "That's my brother." Your jaw's probably on the floor right now, just like Sarah's, because this twist changes everything. Ethan's brother? What happened to him? And why does Ethan have the key to that door? Sarah's ready to demand answers, but before she can, the diner's lights go out completely, plunging them into darkness. A low guttural sound comes from behind the locked door, and Sarah feels Ethan grab her hand, his grip tight and desperate. "We're running out of time," he whispers. "Time for what? What's behind that door? And how is Ethan's brother tied to it?" You're hooked, aren't you? Don't even think about clicking away, because this hashtag Love Story 2025 is about to collide with something straight out of a nightmare, and you're not going to want to miss what happens next. Here we are, you and me, standing at the edge of the climax of Sarah's story, and I can feel your heart racing just as much as mine is. The diner's plunged into darkness, the air thick with that eerie hashtag night shift mystery vibe, and Sarah's hand is still locked in Ethan's tight grip as that guttural sound from behind the locked door grows louder, like something, or someone, is trying to break free. Ethan's words, "We're running out of time," echo in Sarah's mind, and she's torn between fear, trust, and a burning need to know the truth about him, his brother, and this haunted diner that's turned her life upside down. You're probably right there with her, wondering, what's behind that door? Is Ethan the hero or the villain? I promise you, every question you've been asking, about Ethan, Clara, the diner secrets, and that hashtag Love Story 2025 spark, is about to be answered in a way that'll hit you right in the feels. This is the moment where everything collides, where the hashtag romantic suspense and hashtag creepy stories threads weave into a climax that's going to leave you speechless, and a final twist that'll have you talking about this video for weeks. So, grab onto something, because we're diving into the heart of this tale, and it's going to be a wild, unforgettable ride. The darkness in the diner is suffocating, and Sarah's breath catches as Ethan pulls her closer, his voice barely a whisper. "I didn't want to drag you into this, Sarah, but you're part of it now," he says, and before she can ask what he means, he's moving toward the locked door, the key glinting in his trembling hand. Sarah's heart screams at her to run, to get out of this creepy place and never look back, but her feet follow him, driven by that same curiosity that's got you glued to this screen. Clara's voice cuts through the tension, sharp and panicked. "Ethan, don't! You know what happens if you open it." But Ethan's not listening, and as he slides the key into the lock, Sarah notices Clara's face crumple, like she's reliving a nightmare. The door creaks open, revealing a narrow staircase descending into a basement that smells of damp earth and something metallic. Blood, maybe? You're feeling that hashtag haunted places chill, aren't you? Sarah's right there with you, her pulse racing as she follows Ethan down the stairs, the darkness swallowing them whole. At the bottom, there's a small room, lit by a single flickering bulb, and in the center is a locked metal box, covered in strange symbols that make Sarah's skin crawl. Ethan kneels beside it, his hand shaking as he whispers, "This is where it started. This is where my brother disappeared." Your jaw is probably dropping, just like Sarah's, because this is the moment where the diner's secrets start to unravel. Ethan's story spills out in a rush, and Sarah, and you, finally get the truth. 10 years ago, Ethan and his older brother Caleb worked at the diner, just kids trying to make extra cash. Caleb was curious, always poking around where he shouldn't, and one night he found this box in the basement, hidden behind a false wall. He told Ethan it was calling to him, like it wanted to be opened, and against Ethan's pleas, Caleb broke the lock. What came out wasn't human. It was something dark, something that twisted the air and made the diner feel alive with malice. Caleb vanished that night, and the town blamed a runaway story, but Ethan knew better. He spent a decade searching for answers, chasing rumors of the box across the country, and now he's back, because the noises, the disappearances, the hashtag mystery vibes, it's all starting again. Sarah's reeling, trying to process the supernatural twist, but there's no time to think, because the box is humming now, a low, menacing sound that makes the walls vibrate. Clara, who's followed them down, is sobbing, confessing she knew about the box, knew what it did to Caleb, and has been guarding it ever since, terrified it would claim someone else. You're probably thinking, asterisk, is this for real? Is this diner cursed? Asterisk, and Sarah's asking the same thing, her hand gripping Ethan's as they face the box, knowing they have to stop whatever's inside before it takes them too. The climax hits like a freight train. The box starts to shake, the symbols glowing red, and Sarah feels a pull, like something's trying to drag her soul out of her body. Ethan grabs a crowbar from the corner, shouting that they have to destroy it, but Clara lunges forward, screaming, "You'll make it worse." In the chaos, Sarah sees a figure in the shadows. Jake, who snuck into the diner after his texts went unanswered. He's holding a flashlight, his face pale as he takes in the scene, and for a moment, the hashtag love triangle tension flares as he glares at Ethan. But there's no time for jealousy. The box cracks open, and a wave of cold, dark energy floods the room, knocking them all back. Sarah's vision blurs, but she sees something impossible. Caleb, or at least a version of him, stepping out of the box, his eyes hollow and his voice a distorted whisper. "You shouldn't have come back, Ethan," he says, and Sarah realizes this isn't just a ghost. It's something using Caleb's form, something that's been trapped in the diner for years, feeding on the fear of anyone who gets too close. You're feeling that hashtag thriller vibes rush, right? Sarah, Ethan, Clara, and Jake are fighting for their lives now, and the diner's no longer just a creepy backdrop, it's a battlefield. Sarah takes charge, her fear giving way to the courage she's been building all along. She remembers the notebook Clara dropped, the one with the cryptic notes, and realizes it wasn't just a warning, it was a ritual. Scrambling through the pages, she finds instructions to seal the box, a mix of salt, words, and sacrifice. Ethan's ready to offer himself, believing it's his fault Caleb's gone, but Sarah won't let him. "We're in this together," she says, and you can feel the hashtag Love Story 2025 spark shining through the horror. Jake, still shaken, grabs salt from the diner's kitchen, and Clara, her guilt pouring out, recites the words she's memorized over years of fear. They surround the box, pouring salt in a circle as the entity in Caleb's form snarls, trying to break free. Sarah's voice joins Clara's, strong and steady, and as they finish the ritual, the box snaps shut, the energy vanishing with a scream that echoes in their bones. The basement goes silent, the diner's lights flicker back on, and Sarah collapses into Ethan's arms, her heart pounding with relief and something deeper. Love, maybe, or at least the start of it. You're probably cheering right now, feeling that rush of resolution, but hold on, because there's one last twist coming. The main conflict's resolved, the entity's trapped, the diner's safe, and Sarah's alive, stronger than she ever knew she could be. The subplots wrap up, too. Clara confesses she stayed at the diner all these years to guard the box, haunted by her failure to save Caleb. She hands Sarah the notebook, telling her to burn it, to let the past die. Jake, still stinging from his unspoken feelings, hugs Sarah tightly and promises to always have her back, even if it's just as her friend. He leaves the diner, his car keys jingling, ready to finish that road trip dream on his own. Ethan and Sarah, though, are the heart of this story. He tells her he's staying in town, no more running from his past, and asks her to grab coffee somewhere that's not the diner. She laughs, her first real laugh in days, and says yes, her dreams of photography feeling closer than ever. You're probably smiling, feeling that hashtag romantic suspense payoff, but here's the final twist. As Sarah and Ethan leave the diner at dawn, the neon sign flickers, and for a split second, it spells out, Caleb, instead of, open. Sarah blinks and it's gone, but she feels a chill, wondering if the diner's really done with them, or if something's still watching. You're left with that hashtag creepy vibe shiver, aren't you? This story's about love, courage, and facing the unknown, and it's a reminder that sometimes, the scariest things lead to the most beautiful moments. So, what do you think? Ready to believe in forever, even in a place like this?